What if I told you the world isn't thinking about you as much as you think it is? Not your mistakes, not your dreams, not even your pain? Hard to hear. Yeah, but what if that's actually your freedom? See, most of us are quietly waiting to be noticed, to be validated, to be understood. But here's the kicker, nobody's coming. And once that truth hits, really sinks in, you stop performing, you stop explaining, you stop waiting for applause, and you start building a life not for attention, but for alignment. Not for others, but for yourself. That's where your real power begins. So let's talk. Just you and me. No fluff. 12 lessons. Stoic, strong, soul deep. Each one a quiet rebellion against the noise of the world and a loud return to who you really are. Stop chasing applause. Let me ask you something real. Would you still do what you're doing if no one clapped, if nobody liked the post, if nobody said good job, if nobody even noticed? Most people wouldn't, because truthfully, most people aren't living, they're performing. And applause, that's the drug, the craving, the trap. We dress up our goals, package our dreams, and wait for the crowd to cheer. But Stoicism cuts through that illusion like a blade. The Stoic doesn't perform, the Stoic builds. They don't rise for attention. They rise like the sun, quiet, radiant, and consistent. Not because someone's watching, not because someone clapped, but because it's who they are. And that's where real worth begins, not in someone else's eyes, but in the mirror, when you respect the person staring back. So next time you feel unseen or underappreciated or like no one's clapping for your efforts, ask yourself this: am I proud of the way I showed up today? If the answer is yes, then that's your applause. That's your power. Because the dignity of a life lived in alignment, no one can take that from you. Let them cheer. Let them ignore. Doesn't matter. You're not here to impress. You're here to become. Break free from approval addiction. Why do we care so much about what other people think? It starts early. Your parents smile when you behave a gold star on your homework, like on your post. Little rewards, tiny hits of approval. And without realizing it, your compass shifts. You stop asking, is this right for me? And start wondering, will they approve? That's not guidance. That's dependence. And the Stoics, they saw it for what it is, a trap. Epictetus warned, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Why? Because real growth is messy. Real change is often misunderstood. It doesn't look polished. It looks risky, raw, uncomfortable. But here's the truth. If your identity rises and falls based on other people's reactions, you don't own your life. You've outsourced it. You become a performer in a play you didn't audition for, wearing masks, playing roles, forgetting who you were before the applause. And let's be honest, people, they're fickle. They'll praise you one day and crucify you the next for the same thing. If you let their opinion steer your ship, you will crash. But if you anchor in yourself, you stay steady no matter the tide. So what do? You let go, not of connection, but of dependency. You stop needing to be liked, understood, validated. You walk your path. You say your truth. You live in integrity, even if they don't clap. That's not rebellion. That's freedom. Because when you no longer need the world to approve of your life, you finally begin to live it. Master what you can control. Let me ask you how much of your anxiety comes from trying to control things that were never yours to carry. The delay in traffic, the tone in someone's voice, the missed call, the promotion you didn't get, the way someone should have treated you. We stew in it, obsess over it, lose sleep over it. But here's the hard truth. No amount of worrying has ever bent reality. And that's where Stoicism steps in, not to make you passive, but to make you precise. Epictetus said it best. Some things are up to us, some things are not. Wisdom begins the moment you stop fighting the wind and start adjusting your sails. Because while you can't control the weather, you can control how you show up in the storm. Your mindset, your reactions, your next step. That's your domain. When you understand this, life becomes less about managing chaos and more about mastering your response to it. You don't shrink from life's unpredictability. You learn to stand still in it. So next time the world feels loud and wild, ask yourself, is this mine to change or mine to release? Because peace doesn't come from controlling the world. It comes from controlling how you walk through it. Follow your inner compass. Picture this. You walk into a room. Everyone's clapping, smiling, cheering for something you know isn't right. Do you fake a smile and blend in? Or do you hold your ground even if it gets quiet around you? That's the test. Because the crowd, it's loud, but it's unstable. They'll cheer for you today and disappear tomorrow. They'll love your confidence until it makes them uncomfortable. The Stoic doesn't bend to that. They don't shift with the mood of the room. They follow their own compass, one built on values, not volume. Marcus Aurelius said it simply, "The approval of the crowd is a weak and unstable foundation." Why? Because the crowd doesn't know your story. They don't see your soul. They don't carry your responsibilities. So why live for their applause? Your peace, your real, deep, unshakable peace, comes from walking in alignment with your inner code, not the popular path, not the trendy path, the true path. Think of it like this. The world is noisy, but your values, they're your silence, your stillness, your sanctuary. And when you live by them, even if no one notices, you feel something stronger than pride. You feel peace. So ask yourself today, if the crowd booed instead of cheered, would you still do the right thing? If the answer is yes, then you're already free, because you're no longer performing, you're living. Detach from praise and criticism. Here's something that might shake your worldview a little: praise and criticism. Same thing, just different flavors of noise. Think about it. If someone's compliment can lift you, then someone's insult can crush you. Either way, your peace doesn't belong to you. It belongs to them. That's not freedom. That's emotional dependency dressed up as connection. The Stoic lives differently. They don't chase compliments. They don't crumble under critique. Why? Because they're anchored, not in ego, but in integrity. If I know I did right, if I showed up with honesty, with discipline, with heart, then it doesn't matter what they say. Praise, that's nice, but it doesn't define me. Criticism. That stings, but it doesn't own me. Because I don't build my worth on public opinion. I build it on private alignment. This doesn't mean you ignore feedback. You can still listen, still grow. But the difference is you're no longer ruled by it. You receive it, you reflect, and then you return to your center. So here's the question to carry with you. Would I still make this choice if no one ever praised it? Would I still stand by it if everyone criticized it? If your answer is yes, then you've already found something rare, a self that can't be shaken by someone else's voice. Before we jump into lesson 6, take a moment to do me a small favor. Hit like, subscribe, and share this message. Your simple action can help more people who are struggling with this issue find the content they need. Thank you for being a part of this. Build your own worth. Where do you think your worth comes from? Most people never really ask. They just absorb the noise, status, job title, follower, count the approval of others as if that's the scoreboard of their soul. But let's get real. You weren't born with a price tag and your value. It was never something to earn. It's something you build every single day. You build it when you keep your word even when it's hard. When you choose honesty over image. When you do the right thing, especially when no one's watching. That's where real worth lives. Not in applause, not in what people say about you, but in how you show up when it's just you, your choices in the mirror. You want to feel valuable, then stop waiting to be chosen. Stop hoping someone else will tell you you're enough. Forge your worth, one choice at a time. One early morning when you could have hit snooze. One hard conversation you didn't avoid. One act of self-respect even if no one claps. That's what builds quiet confidence, the kind that can't be shaken. The kind that walks into a room and doesn't need to prove anything. Because it already knows I've earned my own respect. So next time you question your worth, don't look out there, look in here. And ask, am I becoming the person I promised myself I would be? If yes, your value is solid. If not, good. That means you've still got the power to build it. Quiet courage changes everything. When you hear the word courage, what do you picture? A loud speech, a bold stand, a dramatic moment that changes everything. Sometimes, yeah, but most of the time, courage doesn't look like that. Most of the time, courage is quiet. It's not the roar, it's the whisper that says, I'll try again tomorrow. It's waking up with a heavy heart and still showing up. It's standing your ground not to be seen, but because it's right. It's choosing the harder truth over the easier lie again and again when no one's watching. That's Stoic courage. It doesn't ask for applause. It doesn't need validation. It's internal, unshakable, rooted in your character, not your feelings. See, most people think courage comes when you feel brave, but that's backwards. You don't wait to feel brave. You act brave, especially when you don't feel ready. And over time, that action becomes your nature. It becomes the version of you that can hold discomfort without running, that can speak truth in rooms filled with silence, that can say no to ease and yes to growth, even when your hands are shaking. So if you're in a season where you feel scared, uncertain, stretched thin, good, that's where real courage is forged. not in the spotlight, in the shadows, in the choices no one sees. And if all you can do today is whisper, "I'll keep going," then you're braver than you think. Create your inner fortress. When life falls apart, when people disappoint you, when plans unravel, when everything feels loud and unstable, where do you go? Where do you retreat? The Stoics had a powerful answer. You go within. You build a place no storm can touch, a mental stronghold, a spiritual sanctuary, a fortress not made of walls, but of clarity, courage, and values. They called it the inner citadel. It's not cold. It's not about shutting out the world. It's about building a center so strong the world can't knock you off course. Brick by brick, you lay the foundation every moment of discipline, every journaled thought, every breath taken before you react, every time you choose principle over impulse. That's how the walls rise. So when chaos hits, you don't crumble. You pause. You remember who you are. You respond not from panic, but from peace. This is what Marcus Aurelius meant when he said, "People look for retreats in the mountains or by the sea, but you can retreat into yourself at any moment." Your inner citadel doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop collapsing. And here's the thing. No one can build it for you. Not a book, not a coach, not even Stoicism itself. It's yours to construct, yours to protect. And when it's built, you'll know. Because no matter what the world throws at you, you'll already be home. Reflect to grow stronger. When was the last time you actually sat with yourself, not to scroll, not to plan, not to judge, but to really look at how you moved through the day? Why did I react like that? What emotion was driving me? What pattern am I repeating that I keep calling just who I am? Most people never pause long enough to ask. They just survive the day, fall into bed, and do it all over again. But you stop. You reflect. You learn. Because the Stoics knew something most people miss. What you don't examine, you repeat. Seneca wrote, "Each day I examine my conscience. I reread the whole day, not to beat himself up, but to wake himself up." And that's the power of reflection. It humbles you without crushing you. It challenges you without condemning you. 5 honest minutes. That's all it takes to interrupt autopilot, to catch the story you're telling yourself before it becomes your identity. To see the moment you broke your own standard and to decide you'll do better, not out of shame, but out of self-respect. Because growth doesn't need drama, it just needs awareness. So tonight, before you sleep, try this. Close your eyes. Ask, where was I strong today? Where did I fall short? And what will I do differently tomorrow? That's not weakness. That's wisdom. And that's how change actually happens quietly, honestly, day by day. Own your vulnerability. We grow up learning to hide the doubt, hide the fear, hide the pain behind a polished version of ourselves we think the world will accept. Smile when you want to scream. Say I'm fine when you're breaking inside. Because somewhere along the way, we were taught that strength means being unshaken. But that's not strength. That's performance. True strength. It's in saying, here's my truth, and I'm not ashamed of it. The Stoics never said to be emotionless. They said, be fearless with your emotions. Face them, own them, master them. You can't transcend what you refuse to acknowledge. And pretending you're fine, it's exhausting. It drains your soul. But vulnerability, when you own it, frees you. It stops being a weakness the moment you stop hiding it. It becomes power, not flashy, not loud, but real. Picture this. You make a mistake, you feel insecure, you're afraid of failing, but instead of covering it up, you say, yeah, that's where I'm at, but I'm still showing up. That's not weakness, that's courage, and it invites others to do the same, because people don't connect with perfection. They connect with honesty, with presence, with the courage to say, I don't have it all together, but I'm still here. So stop hiding the parts of you that are human. Own them. Integrate them. Speak them with calm and clarity. Because once you stop pretending, you stop performing. And when you stop performing, you start living. And that's where your real strength begins. Turn pain into power. What if the very thing you wish never happened is the very thing shaping the strongest version of you? Pain isn't punishment. It's information. It shows you where you're still attached, where you've grown complacent, where your truth has been hiding under comfort. But here's the part no one wants to hear. You don't grow from what feels good. You grow from what tests you. The Stoic doesn't run from pain. They face it. They use it. They ask, what is this here to teach me? What kind of strength is being called out of me right now? Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every failure, it's all raw material. And you're the sculptor, your sorrow, a chisel, your setbacks, fire for the forge. And your choices, those are the hands shaping something unshakable. This isn't about suffering for the sake of it. It's about alchemizing it, turning the wound into wisdom, the breakdown into a breakthrough. Think of the most resilient people you've ever met. They're not untouched by pain. They've been through it. But they didn't let it harden them. They let it refine them. So whatever pain you're carrying, don't waste it. Don't numb it. Don't outrun it. Listen to it. Learn from it. Let it build something in you that ease never could. Because resilience isn't just survival. It's transformation. And that transformation, it begins the moment you stop asking, why me? And start asking, what now? That's Stoicism. That's strength. And that's how pain becomes power. Walk your path without permission. Let's get honest. How much of your life is shaped by reactions that aren't even yours? You post something, then delete it because no one liked it. You second-guess a decision because someone raised an eyebrow. You hold back your truth because you're afraid they'll misunderstand. And little by little, you vanish. That's the danger. When your life becomes a response to other people's moods, opinions, or silence, you're no longer living. You're mirroring. But here's the Stoic truth. Your path is yours. It's not up for votes. It doesn't require a panel of approval. It doesn't bend to make others comfortable. Some people will cheer for you. Some will ghost you. Some will mock, question, twist. Walk anyway, because your peace doesn't come from their praise. It comes from your alignment. When your actions match your values, not their reactions, you begin to feel something deeper than validation. You feel freedom. And the moment you stop needing permission to be fully yourself, that's when the real journey begins. Not out there, not toward status or applause, but inward, toward clarity, toward truth, toward home. The Stoics didn't promise ease. They promised freedom, but only to those willing to meet themselves with honesty. You don't need applause to live a meaningful life. You don't need the world to clap before you take the next step. What you need is alignment between who you are, what you do, and what you truly believe. That's it. That's the whole game. So if the crowd doesn't cheer, walk anyway. If no one understands your path, stay the course, because you're not here to perform. You're here to become, and in the stillness away from the noise, you'll find it, that quiet power, that calm clarity, that steady fire. That's what Stoicism leads you to, not control over the world, but mastery over yourself. So, if this message spoke to something real in you, I invite you not just to listen, but to live it. And if you're walking your own quiet path, I see you. Keep going. Subscribe to the Stoic Path for more soul-deep reminders to stay rooted. Like this video if it helped you find clarity, and share it with someone who might need this gentle nudge back to their inner strength. Your life is waiting. Build it boldly.